Well, those are visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, at Lok Bhavan in Mumbai. Many issues to be discussed between the two global leaders, issues such as defense, trade as well, and improving bilateral trade, and also, of course, these negotiations and meetings taking place in the backdrop of the terms with respect to the free trade agreement with the EU being finalized, which was dubbed as the mother of all deals, and also many issues pertaining strategic considerations as well on the table. Now, this meeting is taking place in Mumbai with the French President Emmanuel Macron, and those were visuals from a short while ago when the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, was on the red carpet welcoming Mr. Macron to the venue as well. So it's been a very strong relationship based on many mutual considerations. India and France also have very deep strategic ties as well, and very close defense partnership, including, of course, the induction of the Rafales, which is also likely to be one of several matters that will be discussed during the course of this bilateral meeting. President Macron also has spoken of strategic alignment on a whole host of issues with countries like India as well, particularly in the wake of the remarks that he himself made against the weaponization of tariffs by the United States. Those remarks were made at Davos. Let me go across to my colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary for more on this. Srinjoy, this is a multi-dimensional relationship between India and France, straddling sectors such as defense and, of course, trade, a very important FTA inked also with the EU, the terms which were finalized as well during the visit of the President of the European Union and the European Commission. Tell us about the significance of this particular meeting involving Prime Minister Modi and Emmanuel Macron.
It's a very big meeting because France is a very important friend of India. And this time, there are several things that were on the agenda. Number one, that related to the 114 Rafales. And this is a 30 billion euro deal. That should not be forgotten. Secondly, this is also about the Safran engines, which will be jointly made in India for India's future fighter aircraft. That's the second thing. Thirdly, the Scalp missile that will come, air-to-air missile, that has been cleared by the Defense Acquisition Council, and that is something that India will acquire from France. The other issue, we don't know whether it was raised or not by the French, but India was ready for it, related to the Scorpion submarines. India had provisionally agreed to 3, but there seems to be some second thoughts. So it was learned that India had decided to say we'd look into it if the issue came up. But that apart, France and India now have very strong ties when it comes to nuclear energy, solar energy, rockets, and similar things, and also now AI and high technology. So this is not just about one thing. It's not about defense or civil nuclear energy or solar energy. It's about a lot of things. And what India has not forgotten is that in 1998, after India's Pokhran blast, France was the one Western country that stood and supported India. And that's something that is keeping the relationship very, very alive.
Absolutely. Srinjoy, stay with us. We also have Rishabh now joining us. But before that, let me go across to my colleague Nilesh, who's reporting from outside Lok Bhavan in Mumbai, where that meeting is taking place. Nilesh, what's on the cards?
Well, there's a lot on the card that will begin today here in Mumbai, as this marks the first visit of a France president. And behind me is the Lok Bhavan. Well, this entire bilateral talks will begin anytime now, as both the delegates, the Prime Minister of India, that is PM Modi, and Macron have made their way inside. What we understand that the discussion will be a key point of focus for bilateral cooperation across a wide range of areas. The meeting will be held here inside this Lok Bhavan, where the two leaders will discuss on regional and global issues, including Indo-Pak cooperation, and post that PM Modi will be leaving for another event which is scheduled into Colaba, which is nearly a few kilometers away from here, and wherein the cultural event will be unfolding. Now, what began as an informal incident today early morning is that Emmanuel Macron began his day instead of from a cabin and enclosed door to the Arabian Sea, that is the Mumbai's iconic Queen's Necklace, where he was seen jogging, thus sending a strong message that how his
those visuals went viral of him going for a run early in the morning on Marine Drive. Many thanks for that, Nilesh, and Rucha also stay with us. But let me get a word in from Rishabh too. Rishabh, Emmanuel Macron has had a lot to say to the United States in the recent past, including at Davos, and even subsequently, he's been very critical of Donald Trump's actions, especially by bringing up the issue of Greenland. He's also spoken out against the imposition of tariffs on the EU by the United States as well. How do you place this visit on the part of Macron to India and his interactions with Prime Minister Modi in the backdrop of everything that he's also said about Trump's actions in the recent past?
Well, if we talk about Macron's visit, see, this is a very significant visit taking place right now. Macron is here on the pretext of the AI summit, but it is much more than AI summit if we talk about. Let's start one by one. There are multi-dimensional aspects to this visit. First, India-France relationship. The AI relationship that India and France have developed over years is something that is, on display here again. Last year, when France was hosting AI summit, India was co-chair. France invited India to co-chair that summit. Now, French President is here in India to attend this AI summit that India is hosting. Apart from that, India-France defense relationship is something that is, evolving years after year. We started with, if we talk about the Mirages that were bought in late 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s. Then there were Rafales that was signed. The Rafales came in, 36 Rafales came in from France. Then we went for the Rafale Marines as well. We have placed order for 26 Rafale Marines that would be operating out of INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant as well. And now DAC has also cleared 114 Rafales, which will come in. Most of them will also be, here in India and developed and in a way constructed in India. So that is a transfer of French technology to India. For the first time, Rafales would be manufactured out of France. Having said that, what else? In the given geopolitical context, if we talk about India and EU has just signed the FTA, this visit is taking place on the backdrop of India-EU FTA. Then there is weaponization of tariff, weaponization of trade, and Macron is someone who has been, quite vocal about a lot of things, especially imposition of tariff, Greenland, and other such things that have taken place here in India in last, here in India as well in last 1 year. So all this is being discussed. Okay. Once, as the leaders are meeting in Mumbai, the major focus definitely would be on the defense side, but also the trade, the geopolitics, West Asia, everything would be discussed. And once the press statements come in, that would be interesting to see what both the sides say. Absolutely.
We'll wait for that joint statement as well. And bilaterals, of course, underway in Lok Bhavan in Mumbai. Let me get a word in from Rucha, who's outside the Lok Bhavan as we speak. Rucha, those visuals went viral, did they not, of Emmanuel Macron taking a morning run along Marine Drive earlier this morning. A good statement that he's putting out about his time in India. He and Prime Minister Modi have met on several occasions in the past. They're known to share a very cordial relationship. Tell us about the significance of what's happening.
Well, definitely him going out on a run in the Mumbai city on Marine Drive definitely sent a special signal because he also explored a lot of places of Mumbai city. In the evening also, he's going to be at the Gateway of India, the iconic location of Mumbai city and where currently he is residing. The Taj Mahal Palace is also one of the key locations of Mumbai city, and even if it is definitely an important meeting for India on international scale, it is equally important for the Mumbai city and Maharashtra because as we are speaking about the Mumbai city, the financial capital, which is the fastest growing, fastest developing city, where we have coastal roads and a lot of infrastructural projects that are coming up that are currently being reviewed by Mr. Emmanuel. And as we speak, the meeting is currently underway at Lok Bhavan, where a lot of MOUs and lot of agreements are being discussed about. In fact, not just about the defense sector, but it is beyond that. It is about the health, the climate, and a lot of startups that also bring a lot of innovations that are also going to be discussed in this meeting. And as we were talking about the importance, the first venue of this three-day visit is Mumbai city, about which the Chief Minister also thanked the President, saying that he is very happy that he chose Mumbai city as the first location for his three-day visit.
All right, let me go across to Rishabh as well. Rishabh, defense is something that we've spoken about already, and the focus here is also on defense manufacturing when it comes to India, because Atmanirbharta and defense is a stated objective and a stated goal of the current dispensation. And what's also on the cards is the joint manufacturing possibly of helicopters as well, and also the Hammer precision guided missiles. Can you tell us a bit more about that and what can be expected by way of joint collaboration, especially with the manufacture of these equipment in India?
Well, Siddharth, if we talk about defense partnership between India and France, it is multifaceted partnership that we are talking about. We have seen partnerships in Mirage, we have seen partnerships in Rafale. Now we are also planning to jointly manufacture and develop helicopters in India. Defense Minister of India, along with the Defense Minister of France, would be meeting in Bangalore at the facility where this manufacturing would take place, and that is something that showcases that how the technology transfer from French companies are coming toward India, and India is gaining. It is a definitely a big push for the Atmanirbharta that we have been talking about in defense. The Hammer missile also that we are trying to jointly develop is something that is going to be very, very important. So, once the MOUs are signed, once the press statement comes in, much more clarity will come in. Sources do say that talks are moving positively, and especially since that EU FTA has been signed now, even those roadblocks would be, ironed out. And that is why we are looking at an actual announcement taking place later today. We are just waiting for this meeting to get over between the two leaders, and then once that meeting gets over, we will be, meeting. Both the leaders would be coming out for the press statement, and the press statement is going to be very, very important. While it would focus on the AI, definitely, but defense, trade, energy, food security, all this would be part of the press statement that we are expecting anytime now.
Rishabh, if you could also provide a perspective on the history of the meetings between Prime Minister Modi as well as Emmanuel Macron, because Macron has in fact been a very strong advocate of the free trade agreement between India and the EU. And the two leaders, even on multiple phone calls in the past, Rishabh, have discussed contentious issues such as Gaza. They've also discussed Russia and the conflict with Ukraine, among a whole host of other matters. So Mr. Macron and Mr. Modi have had a bilateral interaction that is very diversified in its scope, because they've dealt with a whole host of global issues as well in their repeated interactions. Give us a perspective on that too.
Well, definitely. See, this is the fourth visit for President Macron to India since 2017. Apart from these four visits, Prime Minister has visited France for the Bastille Day in 2023. Then he visited France last year for the AI Summit as well. On the sidelines of G7, we have seen them meeting in Italy. We have seen them meeting in Canada last year, earlier this year for that matter.
the other points as well. Prime Minister is also slated to travel to France later this year for the G7. France is hosting G7 this year, and Prime Minister is expected to be there as well. On the sidelines of G20 also, we have seen both the leaders meeting, multiple phone calls, as you mentioned, contentious issues, West Asia, especially Gaza, Iran, Yemen, all these have been discussed between the two. Macron happens to be one of those few leaders from Europe who wanted to open a channel with Russia as well, and not to completely cut off Russia, and wanted to discuss things and get things better in shape once things are diplomatically solve things the way India wanted to solve it diplomatically. And diplomacy between the two countries have only gained momentum in last half a decade. That's what we are given to understand. Apart from that, if we talk about why this relationship is important, see, France has been India's trusted partner in defense sector. France has been India's trusted partner on various global issues as well. For that matter, whenever there is talks about India's permanent membership to UNSC, France has been an advocate for India's permanent membership in UNSC as well. On other global forums as well, France has always supported India, and that's the reason that it's a tested, all-time tested partnership between the two countries that is taking a new leap here in Delhi tomorrow when he reaches and the AI summit takes place. For the first time, AI summit has come to Global South. But even when the AI summit was part of Global North only, France decided to have a Global South country, India, as the co-chair last year at the AI summit, and that is something that showcases the multifaceted relationship that Paris and Delhi have.
And not just that, in fact, when India went or conducted its nuclear tests in 1998, while it was at the receiving end of sanctions from countries like the United States, among others, France actually discouraged many countries from taking any kind of punitive measures vis-a-vis India. Jacques Chirac was the president of France at that point in time. And since then, of course, we've elevated our strategic ties. The strategic partnership was forged in 1998. We talked about civilian nuclear policy between the two countries, trade, of course, as well as defense. And now the Indo-Pacific has also entered the picture in what is already a growing multidimensional relationship, Rishabh. But Rishabh,